Hello, welcome to STEM Girl Leadership Skills Training. My name is Mary Zeiss. I'm a chemical engineer, next slide please, who worked in research and development at Procter & Gamble. I'm retired now, but I volunteer with SWE doing STEM outreach work, both at the local level in Pittsburgh and also at the society level. Next slide, please. So why are we focused on leadership skills for high school students? We think having and practicing leadership skills can help you face challenges and solve problems. And frankly, we need more women leaders in the world at all levels in all areas of our lives. And leadership skills are very valued by employers. They can help you get a job. So my thinking is, here you are in high school, why not learn and practice those leadership skills now? SWE wants to empower women as engineers and leaders. So they developed this leadership competency model with 26 different skills on it. Now, they developed this model with college students and professionals in mind, in a way that they can assess their skill level in these different skills. But many of these also apply to high school students. And for instance, today we're going to talk about one of the leadership skills under leading change. So we're going to be talking about vision, creating a vision. And we'll also be talking about one of the skills under leading self, and that's going to be adaptability, which is specifically learning to be proactive instead of reactive. Now, today's session is actually the second one in a series. The first one we had last December, and it focused on owning ideas, risk-taking, and collaboration. And it's available on the SWE Next TV channel on YouTube. If you've never checked out the SWE Next TV channel on YouTube, you should. We're going to go ahead and put the link in the chat so that you can watch that one afterwards. Today's session will focus on creating a vision and being proactive. By the end of the session, we want you to be able to explain why a vision is important and how you'd go about creating one. We also want you to be able to develop your own strategy for adopting a proactive mindset. If you stay to the end and fill out our feedback survey, you can be entered into a raffle to win a $25 Amazon gift card. So we're hoping that you'll stay to the end. I'd now like the other speakers to introduce themselves. Sydney?
Hi, everyone. My name is Sydney Newman. I graduated with a materials engineering degree from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, which is in kind of upstate New York. I right now am a materials engineer at Raytheon, where I work on failure analysis, and I volunteer for SWE. I'm running for treasurer-elect for SWE Boston, and then I'm also a member of the SWE Next Programs Committee.
Hi, my name is Soumya Venkatesh. I am a high school junior and I live in Pleasanton, California. I am a SWE Next influencer and I'm the VP of Outreach for my school's Step Up chapter. And Step Up is basically a national organization empowering girls to pursue physics and STEM. And I'll be talking about that role a little bit in the presentation. I volunteer at the Chabot Space and Science Center, and I've recently been promoted to an intern, and so I'll be overseeing other volunteers and taking on more of a leadership role. I've also been the high school chair of the Tycon Youth Space Track to create awareness about different careers in space. And I'm also a youth yoga teacher. I got my certification a couple months ago, and I've been teaching a variety of classes for different age groups, and it's been an incredible experience.
Hi, I'm Serena. I'm a high school junior in Wallingford, Connecticut. I'm a SWE Next influencer, and then I'm also editor-in-chief of my school's public health publication. In addition to that, I'm also a co-founder of an international youth-led organization empowering teens to advocate for environmental justice through service work, which I'll talk about later.
Hi, I'm Madeline. I'm a senior in Los Angeles, California. I am graduating, so I will be an incoming freshman next year at Rice University for material science and nanoengineering. I have been a SweNext or Sheila member for 3 years, and I've been a SWE influencer of 2 years, so I have a lot of experience with SweNext. I'm also vice president of a club at my school called Growing Up STEM, where we teach STEM to elementary school students, and we have like a fun little magic show to try to get them really interested in STEM at a young age. And I also am a Girl Scout Gold awardee. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, Madeline, congratulations on being admitted to Rice. I think that's very exciting for you to start your college journey. So congratulations. All right, now that you've learned a little bit about us, we'd like to learn a little bit about you. So I am going to launch a poll. Please go ahead and answer this question. What grade are you in? So let's see. I'm waiting for everybody to vote. Okay, is everybody done voting? All right, we're going to end the poll and share the results. All right, so we got about 30% of you in 8th grade, 43% in 9th grade. Nobody's on the call today from 10th grade, but we do have some 11th graders too, so that's great. So, 11th graders, you're rising seniors, right? And so chances are you'll be leading something wonderful in school this year. And for the 8th and 9th graders, hey, it's time to start getting involved and selecting what kind of clubs and organizations you want to belong to. And I think these skills will help you be able to contribute immediately there. All right, so going to the next question. And here we go. Are you or have you ever been a leader of any club, organization, or sports team? So yes, I have been or am currently a leader. Not yet, but I'd like to be. Or no, I'm not a leader. So we're waiting for more people to vote. More people to vote, more people to vote. All right. I'm going to end the poll and share the results. Okay, everybody can see that, I hope. So we got 60%. Yes, you've been or are currently a leader. That's super. So you can think about your leadership style and whether or not you've shown these skills we'll be talking about today. And then 40% of you said not yet, but I'd like to be a leader. And you are definitely in the right place in terms of learning these skills that leaders will have. All right, excellent. Thank you. So I'm going to turn it over to Sydney to talk about using a Jamboard.
Everyone, so today we'll be using Jamboards so that everyone can participate in our presentation, and we can have all of your lovely ideas. Oh my goodness, Google Slides is going crazy. All right, here's our Jamboard. So today we ask that you click this little sticky note button over here. That'll pop up with a text box. You can type in your thought or whatever you would like to say in response to our question. You can click save or click outside the box and it'll pop up. You can drag it around, put it wherever you want, and just make sure you keep this link up throughout the presentation so that you can answer the questions we have for you all.
So the link was put into the chat box to let you get into the Jamboard on your own computer.
Mm-hmm. And we actually have our first Jamboard question coming up.
Okay, so tell us, why do you think it's important for a club or organization to have a vision? So if you move to the second sheet in the Jamboard by clicking up above, you can go ahead and grab a Post-it note and grab a sticky note and go ahead and put in your thoughts. So why is it important? People able to get the link? Okay, there's a good one. Good.
Yeah, so I see someone has said gives direction, a purpose for a club or activity. That's definitely very important. Need to know where we're going. Yes, that's exactly the purpose of a vision. So that the club has a goal or purpose. Yes, and uh, it's also what we were presenting to prospective members and our current members that this is the vision, this is the purpose of our club, and so forming that we can form that through the vision. So yeah, definitely. To keep you motivated, that's a very good point. Yes. And it gives a goal to work towards and something to strive for. Exactly. And you could also use it as a tool to make decisions about further endeavors for your club, whether it aligns with that overall vision or not. Yes, any more thoughts? Okay, the club needs to have a vision because it gives you a goal to achieve and accomplish something. Yes, having a vision is very important for striving.
Okay, I think she froze up, but I think we're getting the idea. So Sydney, if you'd take us back to the presentation, please. Yeah, so you gave a lot of good reasons for why a vision is important. Many of these were on the Jamboard. It can motivate and inspire people. It can help maintain focus. This is what we're trying to shoot for. It also gives people something to look forward to and work towards. It can attract interested people. If their vision and your vision line up, then they're going to want to be a part of your club or organization. And it can really help in decision making. That little picture there, should we go this way or that way or another way? That's a decision that needs to be made. But if you have a clear vision, then you can head right in the right way that's going to align for the future. And in fact, a vision is a statement of what success will look like in the future. So here's some examples of vision statements. So the Society of Women Engineers, SWE, has a vision of a world with gender parity and equality in engineering and technology. So right now, there are, in the United States, only 14% of the working engineers are women. And so we're pretty far away from gender parity. And of course, our hope is that by offering programs like this and like SWE Next and having sections in college, that we can get to that vision of 50-50 a whole lot sooner. And perhaps your generation will be the generation that can make that move. First Robotics, for those of you who participate in First Robotics, their vision is to create a world where science and technology are celebrated. And that's why they have competitions that almost seem as exciting as a basketball game, for example. And Amazon to build a place where people can come to find anything they might want to buy online. I can remember when Amazon only sold books. And now within the last few weeks, I've bought a birdhouse, a t-shirt, food, cosmetics, anything you might want to buy online. Amazon is trying to be the place. That's their future vision, the place where people can do that. There are definite benefits to having a vision. Research shows that companies that have a clearly defined and communicated vision have employees that are 63% more motivated and 65% more passionate about the work that they do. And I personally think women could be better at setting a vision because we have excellent collaboration skills, and you really do need to work with others to develop your vision. Women also think a lot about making sure all key parties are involved in decisions, and that inclusion, again, helps make a stronger vision. Communication skills, women have good communication skills, really important to be clear, and storytellers. Really, the best visions are told as a story of what's possible. So that's some of the benefits. So you might be thinking, okay, I'm sold on the importance of having a vision for my club, but how do I create one? And really, it all starts with you. If you're a leader, maybe not even the top leader, but any leader in an existing club, you might want to think about what new direction might be better than where you're headed now? Or is there a new opportunity that you've seen that you want to bring to the attention of your club? That would be a good way to start. Now, if you're starting a club for the first time, like a SweNext club, for example, you should dream big on what you'd like to achieve in the future. Don't just think, oh, I'll just have one meeting and that, that'll be it. No, dream big. What would you like? What would you want this club to be like a year from now? And then you should also do just a little bit of homework by looking at other clubs and organizations that you admire. If you see that there's a really well-functioning club at your school, what are they doing? What's their vision? What's their direction? What are they trying to achieve? There might be something you can learn from that. Another thing that you should do as you work to create your vision is to talk with others and get their ideas. Nobody likes a dictator. Everybody wants to be included. So listen to their ideas and see how they could be added to your ideas. Then start refining your ideas, but stay focused on the future. It's nice to say next week we're going to participate in blank, but what do you want your club to do and be like in the future? And then write out your vision. And people, really need to see the words and hear the words in order for them to really absorb it and to help build the same picture in people's minds. And when you're ready, tell others about your vision and make sure you involve them right away to help you turn your vision into reality. Now, we're going to have two of the SweNext influencers talking a little bit about their story of creating a vision. And so listen to these elements that I've talked about. Listen for them in the following stories. Okay, Soumya is going to be first.
Hi, I'm sorry I had some technical issues earlier, I got dropped off the call. So I mentioned earlier that I am the VP of Outreach for Step Up, the club at my school. And initially, the club's objective was increasing the representation of women in STEM fields and inspiring young women to major in physics, which is the overall kind of vision and definitely an important part of the club. And working towards that, we had the annual competition that our club used to organize and still does, called Girls Mathletics, which is for middle school students to gain a friendly introduction to competitive math and gain an exposure to problem solving. And in addition, our club also had a lot of guest speaker events and physics activities during our meetings, and that was about it. However, this year I came across the opportunity of the NASA TechRise Student Challenge, and I introduced it to the other officers of my club and the club members, and they really liked it, and they wanted to participate in it. And so this year we launched that initiative, and the very first stage was writing a proposal. And so that was what we focused on last semester. So the proposal itself was creating a vision of, okay, you're given the opportunity to fly a payload on a launch vehicle such as a rocket-powered lander or a high-altitude balloon. Our club ended up going with the rocket-powered lander, and so the proposal stage, you're envisioning what you want to have in that payload and what goals you want to achieve through flying your payload on the rocket-powered lander. And when you submit that proposal, you have this vision, you have these dreams, but you don't know if that's going to actually happen and you're going to be able to build it. But very fortunate for us, we were one of the teams selected. We were one of the 30 teams selected for the rocket-powered lander, and we are building our payload this semester with guidance from the NASA mentors. And to the right, you can see the huge prize box that we received, and also $1,500 in club funds. And you also see kind of a online drawing of what we envisioned our payload to look like. And at the bottom, you can kind of see how it kind of came together, and we mounted them to the box that you see in the picture. And so we just actually finished building it and mailing it. We just mailed it yesterday, actually. And next semester, we will get our data back. So basically, it's going to fly in the rocket powered lander this summer. And then next semester, we're going to get our data back and we're going to analyze it, build a machine learning model to classify lunar surface features like craters versus hills, create a terrain map, and a shake table, a programmable shake table that basically it simulates the acceleration of the rocket powered lander and the vibration so that other students who we as a club had this incredible opportunity, but we want to pay it forward to other students at our school, in our community, who can also get a chance to test their designs on a simulated rocket journey. And so that was our journey this year. Definitely there are a lot of challenges along the way, a lot of components don't work, but it was a very fulfilling experience. And I think one of the other challenges, technical challenges were obviously many, but in terms of like organizing and getting the effort started, it is difficult to get people to see what you're seeing. I know I was extremely excited about it when I first came across it, but it takes a little bit of time to communicate that and get other people to see what's so exciting about this and how it's going to be a really incredible opportunity for our members. And through this, I was able to kind of expand the club's activities and the vision to include more hands-on experience and through the process of the project gain an affirmation that yes, you can do engineering, you can do STEM. And while it does fit into a broader umbrella, but we kind of honed in on a particular aspect and it was an incredible experience.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sonia. So really yours is sort of a vision in a vision because you had an existing club and you looked around and saw this new opportunity and convinced the club, hey, let's do this NASA TechRise Student Challenge. And then you had to come up with what proposal are you going to submit. So that's great. All right. Thank you. And next we're going to have Serena talk about her story.
Right. So since my sophomore summer of high school, I've been working on an organization called Just Ecological with one of my friends in the grade above. And as she transitioned to college or like thinking about college for next year, she transferred leadership more so over to me. And then our main focus was creating posts that educated people around how climate change impacted communities globally. But I felt we should do something that was more hands-on and impactful. So I decided it was time to make a change. I had a vision and I wanted to make it turn it into a reality. So my vision was to change our mission from being centered around this kind of more educational framework of like educating people through social media, which I didn't really feel was super high impact and didn't really connect our volunteers, to being more centered around beach cleanups and events in order to bring together volunteers around the globe and have a more tangible impact. So how did I implement my vision? The first thing, and I think one of the most important things I did, was that I brought my volunteers into the decision-making process, using my vision as a blueprint while still leaving room to adapt to real-world obstacles and volunteer input and preferences, since my organization really runs off of volunteers and I wanted to make sure that any changes we were making were things that they wanted to happen too. And then I also made the transition gradual by directing new resources and volunteers to our new focus instead of like switching around my whole organization all of a sudden, because that also gave me increased flexibility and let me address problems as they came up. And so far it's been really successful. We've already had cleanups in California and Hong Kong, and we're looking forward to beach cleanups this summer in Uganda, South Africa, as well as Connecticut and New York. And we've already noticed a lot of increased engagement, even on our Instagram, just by like, you can see the pictures there, that there's some pictures from our cleanups. And we've already noticed increased engagement, increased volunteering, and just like overall happiness of our volunteers. They've really enjoyed having this more like tangible impact and like seeing the work of their, like seeing the fruits of their labor directly. But yeah, that's my story.
Thank you, Serena. I love how you ended up getting more people involved and inspired by this new vision. So that's great. So now we're going to go back to the Jamboard, and I would like for you to answer this question. So what would be the first thing you would do to develop a vision for your club or organization. So if you'll go back to the Jamboard and move to page 3, and then go ahead and post the sticky, what would be the first thing you'd do to develop a vision for your club or organization?
I'm seeing brainstorming ideas for direction. Yeah, that's super important to have a plan before you start. Talking to members of the club. Yeah, I definitely learned that's a key stage in the process. Brainstorming something that works for everyone. Everyone wants to accomplish to get the best results possible. Yeah, that's super important. You want everyone to be engaged. Research and talk to my peers, meet with my team group, and discuss our goal and the impact we want to make. Yeah, I feel like knowing what impact you want to make is super important. To like make sure you're always following the mission. Brainstorm something that works. Yeah, meet with my. Okay, yeah, people are just moving around so much. Yeah, these are all really good. Dream big. Yeah, that's huge.
All right. So we're just going to wrap up the final thoughts on creating a vision. I think you got the idea. So our final thoughts are, for any organization you're involved in, whether you're the leader or not, can you state the vision? If you can't state the vision and you are the leader, you have a little work to do in terms of dreaming big and thinking about what you'd like your organization to be in the future. But if you're not the leader, you can still impact this by asking questions of the people who are the leaders and asking other members what they think the vision for the group is, or what they think the vision of the group should be. And it really comes down to the question of, what is the organization trying to accomplish? And in the end, you need to decide whether or not the vision of that group, if that vision inspires and motivates you enough to be a part of that organization. I know a lot of people join a whole bunch of clubs, et cetera. They think it looks good on their resume. But what looks good on the resume, if you stick with a club or organization that you believe in, and that you become an active member and leader of that organization. So really think about every club that you join, especially for you 8th graders who are going into 9th grade. You're going to have a lot of opportunities, different clubs. Yes, join a bunch, see what they're like. But if they don't have a vision that inspires and motivates you, then maybe you need to find a different club. All right, I am now going to turn it over to Sydney for the being proactive portion of the evening.
Yes, hi everyone. I want to get things started off with another Jamboard, doing a lot of these tonight. But I want to hear what you think it means to be proactive in one or a couple words, just to keep it brief. So I'll pull that up. You can go to the next slide in that Jamboard, and let's see your thoughts.
Okay, taking charge, yes, that is definitely putting forth a proactive mindset. Taking initiative, also similar, that is also being proactive. To take things into your own hands, to take change. Yes, I'm loving all this. I love how it's starting with taking. I feel like that is a key for being proactive. Being proactive means getting started on something with a plan right away. Yes, it's always good to be prepared, which was another sticky note, and having that plan ready, not making excuses. Also another amazing response, because it is important to being planned and ready, not being reactive. That is a great response, yes.
All right, it looks like we have some pretty great responses. I'm not even sure I need to present the next slide that I have, but we'll do it just for fun because you guys did such a great job. All right, so I have being proactive means anticipating issues or questions before they arise, seeking improvements actively, and then having things ready for when something you don't want to happen or something that's out of your control occurs. So why do you want to be more proactive? More stability, you know what to expect. Things don't go wrong as often. And with that comes less stress, less anxiety, which I think everybody probably wants. So this sounds great, but how do you actually accomplish that? So I'll go a little bit into that. The big thing is accepting responsibility. I think we touched on this in your sticky notes, but doing the most important things first, prioritizing what needs to get done. And then that way, when something comes up or you hit a road bump and you're not able to finish the rest of your tasks, at least you know the things that absolutely need to happen have already been done. And really coming back to that, you can't have complete control over everything, but you can take control of what you can control. If that makes sense. So planning, really making sure that you've done everything that you can. That really leads us into our next point. Plan whenever possible. I'm sure as people interested in STEM, you already do this. I've noticed that a lot of us are big planners, but the real benefit to this is you avoid a lot of surprises by thinking about the big picture. And the best way that I can explain this is if you're the squirrel in Ice Age who only ever has one nut and you only know where that one is. If you are like, a regular squirrel, you're digging up a bunch of nuts in one spot and really spreading them out. Because, if another animal gets into one of your holes, you know where a backup one is. Now, something that I really learned in college was practicing mindfulness. So when you meditate or you really think about your reactions, you can identify your reactive thinking patterns. So if something happens, you can anticipate how you're going to react, especially if it's not in your best interest, and you can counteract that. I found the best way for myself to develop that relationship is through meditation. Someone actually recommended me the Smiling Mind app, which is completely free. It's a nonprofit and it offers some pretty great resources if that's something you're interested in. And I think something that everyone said in the sticky notes for that last question was adapting or taking the initiative. So things don't always go to plan, but reacting well is the goal. Knowing those backup plans are super important so you're prepared. And having that proactive mindset with those backup plans will help make decisions feel less instantaneous. So you're going to feel a lot more stable, a lot more sure in your choices because they're not spur of the moment decisions that might stress you out. And so I do have another Jamboard before I hand it off to Madeline to hear her story. Imagine you're in charge of planning an event. You have an outside speaker coming in, and that speaker texts you 5 minutes before saying they're going to be at least 10 minutes late to the presentation. Now think about what could you have done in the situation to be proactive. So we're going to go to that next slide in our Jamboard. And let's hear what you guys have to think.
Okay, so quickly identify a way to entertain the audience and create some kind of introduction as a way to stall. Perfect. That is a great way to think on your feet and get it moving. Prepare a backup event or staller in case this happens. It is always good to make sure you've covered everything beforehand. Apologize to the audience. Of course, that's a great response. It's always good to say, apology. I could have planned for them to be late, maybe had a speech or a way to stall. So again, planning in advance is a great way to combat this and making sure everything is prepared before getting into this situation. Come up with a way to entertain the audience while they wait. Perfect. Maybe doing a quick way to get them engaged is a great way. So send out reminders to the outside speakers about the event timeline. Great. have an introduction speech. Oh yes, that is always good to have a little speech.
Yes, these are all such great ideas and a very important skill if you want to be a leader of a club because you will probably run into this situation. So all really great ideas, making sure that you have something planned in case, the speaker goes short or they show up a little bit later than expected. So now I will hand it off to Madeline, who has 2 stories to share with us about how she's proactive.
Okay, so this first story is when I was proactive with my AP Environmental Science teacher. So I wasn't doing that well in the class, honestly, and I was struggling a bit. So I was like, okay, I need to find a way to combat this and try to raise my grade, try to raise my understanding of the course material and the coursework. So I decided to take initiative and talk directly with my AP Environmental Science teacher. And this was very difficult and scary for me as it was stepping out of my comfort zone. But by talking to her, she helped me through the curriculum we decided to do like a 30-minute study session together before class, just to review all of the coursework. And this really helped me understand the material, which in turn helped raise my grade. And this all came from me just going up to the teacher and being like, hey, I need help. I'm not doing so good. What can I do? So, and also this relationship extended past the course, which was in something I was expecting, but she helped me with a lot of other outside activities, such as a research paper that I did independently. She helped me and instructed me and then edited my research paper. So I'm very grateful for that. And she also wrote my recommendation letters, not just to colleges, but also to summer programs and to scholarships and to anything that really needed a recommendation letter. And lastly, she also helped me find some scholarships. And one of them she sent to me and she was like, hey, Madeline, I think this is a great scholarship. I think it's just in your alley. So why don't you apply? And I actually applied to that scholarship and ended up getting it. So even though it just started at first of just, hey, I need some help, it really extended into this deep connection with my teacher, which has helped me so much further on.
That is such a great story. I think a really big takeaway here is knowing how to ask for help and being proactive in that manner. I was an RA in college, and it was surprising to me how many people came in not knowing how or when to ask for help. So definitely take that away from Madeline's first story. And now we'll hear about her second story.
Okay, so this is my second story about being proactive, and this is when I was looking for a summer opportunity. And this was my first ever summer opportunity that I was really applying to for the year, and I didn't know where to start. So I started by researching everything I could, and I went through the University of California's Irvine's outreach page, actually, just to look for any internships that they have there, which was my local college at the time. And I searched every possible thing to find as many as I could. And I applied to about 7 summer internships, which sounds like a lot. And I promise you, it wasn't that many. So I got rejected from a lot, actually. And that was also something that I had to deal with, was going through that rejection into some of the programs. But with rejection always comes acceptance, and you only need one. So I got accepted into an internship at University of California, Irvine. And it wasn't my first choice, honestly. I really wanted this other program, but unfortunately I got waitlisted from it, so I wasn't able to go. But I was like, hey, this is perfectly good too. Let's just go in and do my best and see what comes out. So by being proactive and applying to all of these programs, it gave me an opportunity to get accepted from one, even though I was rejected from so many. And that internship actually led to me winning 2 awards in the Orange County Science and Engineering Fair. I won an award for 2nd place in the chemistry department and another award granted by the Department of Petroleum Engineers in Los Angeles. And I didn't expect either of those things to be coming in from this internship. And I think just the takeaway from this being proactive story is always to try to apply and put yourself out there to as many opportunities as you can, and just research, and you'll always find something. And as long as you make the best of it, things will come out and it will always be successful.
Ugh, I love that story. I'm always so impressed when people get internships before college. Those are the most proactive people. Now that you've heard Madeline's stories and you've heard a little bit about how to be proactive, I would like to hear how you all will take your first step in developing a proactive mindset. So this will kind of wrap it up, this section on being proactive. So if you all go to the Jamboard, go to that 6th slide. Let's hear just a couple words about how you will develop a proactive mindset.
I'm seeing taking small risks at first and then work up to being more outgoing. Yeah, it's definitely good to ramp up if you're not feeling super comfortable reaching out to someone the first time. My first step is research and looking for opportunities for sure. I would be more open as I have sort of a closed mind and like sticking to the books. Yeah, it's definitely important to put yourself out there. Being more willing to ask for help. Definitely looking for opportunities locally and applying research. Yeah, first you need to have something that you want to be proactive for, and then you can be proactive. Learn to be adaptable and not reactive when something goes wrong. Definitely. Stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yes, these are all super great. I'm hoping that you all can take away a bit more of that proactive mindset from our presentation. I love how everyone is stepping outside their comfort zone. That's a really important thing to do. I often struggle with it myself. So yeah, we'll keep moving on. Mary will
Okay.
take over from here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sydney and Madeline. Appreciate your portions of this. So today we focused on the leadership skills of creating a vision and being proactive. And we hope that you'll be able to practice these skills and become great leaders as you build these skills and other leadership skills into your toolkit. Okay, so if any of you have questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, so we have a question for Serena. Serena, how did you begin your journey as an ecological advocate?
Well, I've always really been interested in the environment, and I was talking with one of the girls at my school. I'm currently in a program at my school that does like a concentration in environmental studies, and she did it the year before I did, and like she took a lot of classes in environmental policy, and she brought it up to me, and she was like, "Are you interested in helping me with this? Like, I really want to get something going that like helps educate people about um, environmental issues from a global lens, especially like these international issues that require global coordination." And so I was really interested in that, and I wanted to help her with the account. And so that's how I got initially involved. And then I'd say like in terms of the how I started like running cleanups and stuff, like running these events, I'd say that was a lot of trial and error. I know like the one I ran over winter break in California, like I emailed a couple of city representatives, and it was kind of like a wild goose chase to try and figure out which person I should actually be emailing. And I ended up working with this organization that already existed and like kind of partnering with them to run it through my organization. So I'd say like if you're interested in starting something like what I did, it's super important to be proactive and email like email people. And if it doesn't work out, emailing someone else because eventually you'll find your way to like the resources that you need. But it definitely takes a lot of effort, and but it also has a really high reward if you follow through to the end. So
Yeah, it's interesting how both of those skills, right? Because you had the vision of changing your organization, but you also had to be proactive in terms of getting the support you needed in order to start doing your cleanups. Okay, we had a question of how did the presenters become involved in SWE Next? And Madeline, I think you've been involved the longest out of our 3 influencers. So how did your SWE Next journey begin?
So I was just basically searching things up online to try to find different opportunities for myself, and I just sort of stumbled upon it online. I don't really remember how. I think I was just searching up like a woman advocacy in engineering or something similar to that. And so I joined it online, and then I signed up for the Leadership Academy. And then the Leadership Academy got me into like the SWE Influencer. And from that, I've been doing that.
Yeah. And Madeline, saw that, are you taking over the SWE Next social media tomorrow? Is that tomorrow?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure. I
Yeah.
am taking over soon. I'm excited. This is my second time taking it over, actually. So you guys should definitely check it out. Shout out to my takeover, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Soumya, how did you get involved with SWE Next?
Yeah, there's already a club at my school, so I am a member of that club, and I also did some more research about SWE Next and how I could increase my involvement, and um or maybe it was actually an email that I got about the program, and that's how I found out about the program, and I applied and I was selected, and so that was kind of my journey.
Okay. This one's for any speaker. How did you find access to exciting clubs that also fit your goals? My school is very small and only has 1 to 3 clubs that are not what I'm interested in. Is there a way to find clubs near you?
I actually joined a lot of clubs at my school. Not only did I join clubs that really interested me, I also joined sort of clubs that are completely different. Like I joined Home Economics Club for fun, and I also joined like CSF and NHS and those clubs. But I've also started a club at my high school, which originally was connected to like my getting my Girl Scout Gold Award, and then it just sort of expanded into like my own personal goal. And I feel like if you can't find anything that really interests you around you, then just take initiative and be proactive and just start your own. That's my advice. Even though it is difficult and it did take up a lot of my time, I just feel like it's so rewarding. Yeah.
Soumya or Serena, do either one of you want to answer that question?
Yeah, adding on, so about like finding clubs near you, I was also another one of my interests is astronomy and like space, and I joined a local organization called the Tri-Valley Stargazers, and it's actually like not really meant for young people. Well, I mean, it's open to the whole community, but it was basically mostly adults and people who were retired. But it was still a great experience, and I found a lot of mentors, and they really helped me out, like getting started observing. And so you can definitely look into like local organizations and chapters, and even if there are adults there, it's not super intimidating. They're very friendly, and they really just want to help you and kind of pass on their interest to you as well. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Labari, as she mentioned earlier, she's preparing to start her SWE Next club at her school during the summer. How do you go about creating and running clubs? What kind of advice do you have that you could share? Any speaker?
I'd say like what I mentioned before, like making sure that you're catering to what your members want. Like I run a couple of like discussion-based clubs at my school, and I always try and like ask people who frequently come to meetings, like, what do you want to talk about next time? Like, what are you interested in hearing about? And just taking in their input, because especially if you're leading a club, it like you're also facilitating other people's experience. And so you need to make sure that you're like not only catering to what you want from the club, but also making sure that all of your members are getting to hear about or like do things that they're interested in.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, that's definitely important to like know who your members are and kind of cater to them, but also I think the very first step is probably finding an advisor, like a teacher you really like and who's really also, who really believes in the cause that you're starting the club for and who you just have a really good connection with, because the advisor is super pivotal. Like I know for me personally, like bringing the opportunity to my advisor, she was already very busy with obviously teaching classes, and she also stays after school and helps her students. And despite that, she was willing to take on this additional responsibility of being our advisor to this challenge, and I'm extremely grateful to her. And so yeah, advisor is very important. So that would be your very first step.
Okay. Nita had a question. She was curious whether any of the presenters were homeschooled. I don't think the three of you are, but any of you homeschooled? No? Okay. How do you go about getting people to join your clubs? What do you do to advertise, to encourage, to inspire? What do you do to get them to join your clubs?
I'd say making sure that I'd say making use of the things that already exist, like the groups that already exist. I know for my organization, I try and reach out to like um, local schools, like especially if I'm looking for volunteers for a specific event, I'll reach out to schools in the area or organizations in the area, see if they can contact their members, see if anyone's interested in it, like maybe feature the cleanup on their newsletter or something, just to spread it to a wider audience. And especially if you can target your marketing towards audiences that you think are interested in it, like let's say you want to start a woman engineering club at your school, like maybe giving an announcement at like a school meeting or something, or if you want to be more targeted, you can talk to like a teacher that teaches a lot of science courses and be like, if there's any students you think would be interested in this club, can you have them reach out to me?
Anybody else want to try that question?
I also want to add on to the reaching out to the teacher, because I also found that was like a great way. And you could always like go out and ask your teacher like, hey, I'm starting this club. I really want to make this club known. Do you think you could give a quick shout out to it, like in the beginning of a class? Because I feel like a lot of teachers, at least at my school, they they were like, yeah, sure, definitely. And they just told the class like, hey, if you guys are interested, then join this club. It's related to this course, or it's related to this material, or it's similar to it. And I think that's a great way. Another way is just always doing, or at least at my school, we have this thing called like a club rush. So where you have like a booth and you have like a poster, not a poster board, but like a sign of your club, and always going to like those sort of events and advocating about your club is also a great way, because that's how most people find out about it. And just getting down like all of their informations and socials, and then just sending out like a reminder or something saying like, hey, yeah, come this day for a meeting if you're interested. And I think those are two great ways to really get a club going.
Okay, another one of the questions said, like, what activities do you do at your club? And I really want to encourage you to go to the SWE-NEXT webpage. I put the link in the chat and take a look, because there's two excellent documents in there that will help you start a club. The first one's called SWE-NEXT Clubs 101 Guide. That goes step by step how you would go about it, how you'd talk to the teacher, how you'd recruit people, how you might get presenters, etc. The other one is called the SWE-NEXT Clubs Activity Guide, and they'll go through 3 different types of activities. And of course, there's many more than just 3, but they talk about running your own STEM outreach event. They talk about professional development and panelists, and I can't remember, maybe the third one's a community project, I'm not sure, but it's an excellent document there that can help lead you through. All right, are there any questions that we haven't been able to answer, if we didn't answer? If so, you can just unmic yourself and but I think that's probably the 80 for the 20. Yeah, there they are right there. So the SweNext Club 101 guide for students, and then the SweNext Club activity guide. Both of them are PDFs that are really excellent, excellently prepared. The SweNext Programs Committee created that content, and a couple of the people actually had started SweNext clubs in high school, and they're now college students, and they were on the committee, and they created that information for you. Okay. If there isn't any other questions, I want to thank everybody for being here with us today to go through this training. Yes, I'm hoping that there will be follow-up STEM Girl leadership skills training going forward. And that's why your survey asked what else you'd like to learn about when it comes to leadership skills. And we did get one more question. Would you recommend a social media to reach out to other people to join your club? Monica's mic doesn't work. Yeah, what do you think? Madeline, Soumya, Serena, social media to reach out?
Yeah, Instagram, because sorry for interrupting you. I was just gonna say I like really Instagram because a lot of people use it and it's such a wide known place. And also I would recommend Remind, but that's not really for reaching out, more so like getting people involved in meetings, because I feel like Remind is just such an easy way to like communicate to your club, just saying like, hey, there's a meeting Thursday, or hey, there's this opportunity this day, and just letting people know information.
Will you spell that last one?
REMIND.
REM. Okay, okay, great. Serena, Soumya, any last words?
Yeah, I was also gonna say Instagram, that was definitely very helpful. Especially when you're a new account, it's hard to get people to notice you. So you might just need to follow people from your school so that they can their friends will see it, like it will pop up on their page, and you can kind of spread the word through that, and also like tag other clubs or people, or like if there's like a general school account, like you can tag them as well. That helps. And email, like a ton of people like usually sign up initially, but they're all kind of dormant. Like not everyone actually shows up to the meetings. But even then, like having that email list and like keeping them posted about updates is very important. And they do sometimes get inspired by new things that you're going to do in your club, and do come. So email and Instagram are the main ones.
All right, Serena, any last thoughts?
Yeah, and then this is kind of sneaky, but you guys can like talk to your friends about, like, I know when I was first starting my organization, I like asked some of my friends to like repost the posts that I was making on my account, because, or like I would ask another person that I knew who was like running something similar, or like an account that they ran that had more followers, and I just asked them like if they can give me like a shout out, or like sometimes I would like talk to people, or I would like I feel like that's a really easy way to increase like engagement and followers. And also like if people see like people from your school, like sometimes it's more successful if people are like if they have like subliminal messaging, rather than like if you directly follow them, you might have a higher success rate. Like if they're seeing it on someone else's story and they're like, oh, that's so cool, like let me follow, instead of instead of having like a more out of the blue kind of, I don't know, followers.
Okay, Sydney, any final words?
No, thank you all so much for coming. I'm very impressed and excited that you got to hear from the SweNext influencers.
Right. So yes, thank you all very much for joining. Really, our fondest hope is that you all become engineers and future leaders, and you can practice that right now in high school. So good luck, and hope you all get exactly, you make your dream, dream big, and get your dreams. So thank you very much.